This episode is for you business owners. I want to talk about reviews. How do your reviews look? Do you have enough of them? Do you struggle with getting reviews? Is it one of the hardest parts of your business? My goal today is with this episode is to help you challenge your belief that getting reviews is pushy and asking for them is annoying, and that it's actually difficult to get reviews, because there's a lot of ways to get reviews that make it actually really fun and really enjoyable. And I really want to help you guys figure out how to tackle this part of your business that could be potentially pretty difficult. So for those of you guys who are new to the show, my name is Andrea Pearson. Welcome to my show. Whether you're a business owner, a creator, or anyone who refuses to settle, this show challenges common ways of thinking so that you can achieve success in all areas of life. And the mindset, like I said, the mindset I want to challenge today, the belief I want to challenge today, is that asking for reviews is pushy or annoying, and or that getting reviews is difficult. And I want to help you guys replace that with asking is actually giving happy customers an opportunity to help other people. So like family and friends they have that are their friends, or sorry, their friends and families who might also struggle with something they're struggling with. So if you're like a landscaper and you offer people solutions for a prettier yard, you're giving your customers the opportunity to help people who need that solution in their life. And also, it's also allowing people to have the opportunity to help your business grow. And your favorite people, your fans, the people who love what you do, they're going to want your business to grow, because if your business grows, that means you'll stay in business. Okay. So I want to make this point right off the bat. Nothing happens unless you have social proof. Things are super competitive right now, since, online advertising, all of that stuff that's grown exponentially, and gaining traction and getting attention is really difficult. And if you don't have social proof in the form of positive reviews, and you guys know this, it's a lot harder to generate traffic, or not generate traffic. It's a lot harder to convert traffic, and it's a lot harder to gain fans that stick around for a long time, because they're not willing to take a chance on you, because they can't tell if what you do is worth their time and their money or not. And so this is what I always tell business owners, whether it be authors or contractors, tradespeople, people who own any business, any entrepreneur. Your goal is at least 50 reviews. And I'm talking about like your business on Google. If you run a like any kind of business that 50 reviews. If you have an Etsy business, you want 50 reviews per product. If you're an author, you want at least 50 reviews per book. And that is the very, very bare minimum. Especially if you're an author, you're going to need several hundred. But at least right now, your goal is 50. And if you run a brick and mortar, any of that kind of stuff where you're selling stuff, where have people come to your company, you want at least 50 reviews. And that's even before you start running massive promotions and telling people about your company. Anyway, so your mindset shift, you need to shift the way you think about reviews. Asking for reviews is easy, and it can actually be really fun, and it won't ruin your business relationship. So I want you to just come into this episode with an open mind and recognize that this is something you can do. This is something that you can tackle. And the first thing I wanted to tell you guys to do with this is to incorporate a system. And so, for example, if you're an author, that's going to be where at the end of every single book, you ask for a review. If you have an automation sequence, and this can be any business owner who has a newsletter, if you have an automation sequence, you want to have your biggest product or your biggest item, or what you want to sell the most at this time, you want it to be you want to be asking for reviews on that thing. And also like an incorporated system. So periodically ask for reviews. And what I mean by periodically ask for reviews, I'm not saying like in face-to-face in person. I'm talking about on newsletters. And so we've talked about newsletters on the show before. I'm not going to get into them too much, but you want to make sure that you're actually asking people who are subscribed and who like you for reviews. Okay, so also consider events and contests. Tell people what your goals are. Get people excited. Create a campaign around it. And I'll talk about that a little bit more. And you're going to want to tell the people who, your fans, the people who are trying to help your business, your subscribers, all of those people about your goal, and get them excited about it. Tell them or give them a free copy of your book, and like a discount on a future product. You have to be really careful when it comes to terms and services of these terms and conditions, whatever, of websites like Etsy and Amazon. They all have their own specific rules about how you get reviews for your product. And so you don't want to be breaking those rules. And so Amazon is very specific. They don't want you giving anything a trade for a review. So you're not giving somebody a free copy in exchange for a review. You want to make sure that they know that, like, here's a free copy. I would really appreciate you post a review. And same with like, here's a coupon. I would really appreciate if you post a review of my product, or like okay, we're not going to dig in too much into brainstorm, but there's a lot of different ways that you can get people to do reviews in exchange for, or not in exchange for, like a discount on a service that you offer or something like that. And then also, if you do a sort of like campaign or contest or something like that, send regular updates so people know what's going on. Okay, so this is best practices for anybody who runs a business and who needs more reviews, or in general, just make this be part of your business. You're going to want to give them a positive experience, a positive result, a happy feeling of accomplishment. Like, gosh, I gave them this money and this thing happened and it was really good for me. Like, that book was amazing, or my yard looks really great, or anything like that. And as soon as they get that endorphin rush, ask them for a review. And it can be as easy as, hey, thank you so much for being a valued customer. Would you please leave a quick review? And then make it easy. Don't just ask them to post a review. Send them a link to where you want the review, and if possible, the very specific spot where they will leave a review. So if you're an author, that's going to be the write a review. You're going to send them a link to that link that says write a review. Send them that link. Let them know that they'll need to be signed into their account, of course. And if you are just like a regular business owner who has a Google profile, send them a link to the spot on Google where they will leave their review. So make it very, very easy, and do it immediately after they've had a positive experience. Just say, hey, my company can't run unless I have positive reviews, unless I have that social proof. Would you please consider, or would you, don't even say please consider, just say, would you leave a quick review? And make sure they know it doesn't need to be elaborate. It could be 1 or 2 sentences long. You want it to be a 4 or 5 star review, and don't tell them that they need to do that. If they're happy, they'll do a 4 or 5 star review. Obviously, that's your goal. You want that. But make sure they know that review will help benefit your company and help you. And then also, after you ask them for a review, don't just let that be the end of the conversation. Follow up once, like a week later, and make sure they know that you're still interested in getting that review. And then also thank them. Make sure you're thanking them every step along the way. So this episode's not going to be super long. I'm going to tell you guys a case study, basically, that I wanted to use to showcase how this can be done really well. So there's a local massage therapist here in the city my husband and I live in. And for about 6 months, my husband and I were getting weekly massages from him. And he is a phenomenal business owner. Like, this guy runs his newsletter very, very well. He is really good at what he does, and he's really good at working with his patients. And what he did was, there was another massage therapist in town who was the other big guy, right? And he looked at the number of reviews they had on Google, and he decided he wanted to beat that person. And so every single customer who came through, he was like, hey, such and such also does massages, and they've got, I think it was like 250 or 300 reviews. And I want to match that number of reviews and exceed them within a certain time frame. And so he was always like, please post a review. And I know, like, a lot of you are going to be like, oh, I can't do that. That's cringy. Your patients and your customers and your fans, they're not going to care. It's not as uncomfortable to them as it is to you. And so, like, Justin, I mean, my husband and I were like, okay, you're super excited about that. But as a business owner myself, I was like, okay, that's actually a really good idea. Like, make this into a campaign, into a game where it's like a competition thing, where he's like super excited, enthusiastic, and super just gung-ho about it. And he was asking pretty much everybody to post a review, and he was sending emails to his newsletter list and being like, oh my gosh, guys, I'm at 195 reviews. And then once he hit 200, he's like, guys, I'm at 200. Can you please, if you haven't done it already, go post a review? And then he'd send a link again. And guys, he ended up beating that person in reviews, and he's got like 50 to 100 reviews more than that person does now. And just like, if you make it fun, if you make it into a campaign where it's specific time, you've got a deadline, you've got a goal, and you explain to your subscribers ahead of time, or your customers ahead of time, this is what I'm working on, and this is how you can help me, then you're going to have a lot higher of a chance getting people involved. And this can be for any business, and it can be for any personality type. So say you're like a contractor, let's say we'll say you're a plumber and you tend to be more introverted and shy, you could just when you're in with a person after they've had a positive experience, say, hey, so my business has been going this long and I've only got this number of views and my goal is to get this many reviews. Would you consider leaving a review, or will you post a review, and I'll text you the link to post the review, and then text them the link, and then you could say, such and such business, or in order for me to be taken seriously, I need to have 50 reviews and I've only got 10 or whatever. And then make it into a campaign, a part, like a knee-jerk reaction, where every time you do something, any sort of positive interaction with a customer, you invite them to post a review. And if it's like somebody who does repeat work, they're going to post that review once, but consider the other places. For example, I've told you guys about the contractor who's done work in our yard for us before. I posted all over the place for him. And he asked me, I posted all over on Facebook, got a lot of business for him. And he came back to me. He's like, hey, I actually really need a review on my Facebook page and on my Google website, on my Google profile. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. Like, I can post for him in social media, but those posts, they disappear. But a review on his Google website, his Google site for his business and on his Facebook page, those ones will last relatively forever. They do occasionally remove those things, but that was really like a wake up call to me. I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. I totally forgot about those places. And so if somebody's already posted a review, don't hesitate to ask them with your next positive interaction with them to post a review in a different place. So, on Google or on Facebook, in the Facebook groups that they're in, social media, to their family text chats, stuff like that. So anyway, so there's a lot of different ways to get reviews, and there's a lot of ways to make it not cringy. You want it to fit your personality, you want it to fit a system that you have, or create a new system that will benefit your company and that you can continue carrying on. You don't want it to be something that is difficult for you to do. And so it needs to fit your personality, it needs to fit your theme and your energy, like the things that bring you energy, meaning like things that excite you and make you excited for the day and get you working really hard. Make it incorporate into that area of your life and into that area of your business, so that asking for reviews and getting reviews becomes second nature and it's just part of what you do. And also, if you have a hard time asking for reviews, I want you to practice asking for reviews. I'm not saying to other people, practice in front of the mirror saying, hey, would you please leave a review? And text that, write that down over and over and over. Will you leave a review? Would you please leave a review? I want you to get comfortable saying those words so that it's not uncomfortable for you, so that when you do actually start asking customers for them, it doesn't feel like you're like being needy and desperate and pathetic and or that you might potentially be ruining the business relationship you have with them. Anyway, that's it pretty much for this video. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any requests for future episodes, please leave them below in the comment section, and make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button and the bell icon to be alerted to future if you're on YouTube. And if you're on a podcast app, make sure that you've subscribed to the channel. Anyway, I will talk to you all later. Bye.